That's right. We'll be exploring megalithic sites in Peru, Bolivia, and Easter Island. The pre-tour starts at Paracas, where you'll get close examination of the elongated skulls of the Paracas culture. There are more than 40 elongated skulls in the collection of the Senior Juan Navarro Museum in the little village town of Paracas. And again, you'll get special access to examine and film and photograph these amazing specimens. Then it's off to Ica, about 1 hour away, where we'll fly over the Nazca and lesser-known Palpa geoglyphs and lines. Ica is a very desert city, and the views are spectacular from the plane. You'll get to see a lot of the so-called runways and the famous figures such as the spider and the parrot and condor, but you'll also get to fly over Palpa, where there are more geoglyphs and lines than there are at Nazca. Then it's off to the Sacred Valley of Peru, and our first megalithic site, which is also an Inca site, will be Ollantaytambo. After that, we explore a world-famous location that many of you, or in fact all of you, will have heard of, but it's hard to describe it until you actually see it in person. I'm talking about Machu Picchu, the most incredible site, or one of the most incredible, in all of the world. Then it's off to Cusco, where we'll do a walking tour of the Inca and megalithic sites. Next day, it's Kenko, and this incredible place called Sacsayhuaman, a megalithic masterpiece. Some of the stones in this location weigh more than 120 tons. Next day, it's off to a lesser-known site called Quirumiok. And Quirumiok means the stones of the moon. Very few visitors ever visit here, and that's why we're going to go, because it's something that should be more publicized. Then we fly from Cusco to La Paz in Bolivia. And we spend an entire day exploring Tiwanaku and this place, Pumapunku. Pumapunku, of course, is most famous for these H blocks, and engineers can't figure out how these shapes were made, especially by a Bronze Age culture such as the Tiwanaku people. We'll also show you magnetic anomalies that are present at Pumapunku and Tiwanaku. I believe this was, to some degree, my discovery, but you'll see here how inside the H block, the compass goes very erratic. We're still trying to figure out what's going on. Next day, we visit the Temple of the Serpents, which almost nobody has ever heard of. We discovered it about 3 years ago. Then it's off on Lake Titicaca on a hydrofoil for more exploration. We'll go to the Moon Island and Sun Island. Here at the Moon Island, we'll see a reconstructed Inca temple for the chosen women who were also called the Virgins of the Sun. This is an example of Inca construction, and we'll contrast and compare that with the megalithic works that clearly were not made by the Inca. They're much, much older. After that, it's off to see what's called the Orca del Inca, which is a summer solstice calendar. And again, almost nobody outside of the Lake Titicaca area knows about it. Then, our newest discovery, Kenawani, just over the border in Peru. I've waited 10 years to see this. And then we're off to the famous Amaru Muru or Aramu Muru, which is a red sandstone portal near Lake Titicaca. And finally, on this day, we'll go to what's called the Temple of Fertility, named that for kind of obvious reasons when you look at the phallic-shaped stones. And then we go to Sillustani, where these huge basalt towers are, clearly not made by the Inca, thousands of years older. And finally, if you want to, you can join us on Easter Island, otherwise known as Rapa Nui, where there are more than 900 of these so-called heads, but they're actually heads and complete bodies. We'll be spending almost an entire week there, so it's well worth it if you have the time to go. Easter Island is completely unique in terms of its history and also what you'll be able to see there with us. So we hope you can join us on all three, the Nazca, the Main, and the Easter Island tours. If you can only do one or two, that's fine. These tours are limited to 20 people. So